piece is going to be performed by his brother, Melvin Johnson. The play is called Private Johnson's War. So I think we're going to bring Melvin up now to do that piece. Let's hear it.
This is about Private Roosevelt Johnson, Private Johnson's War. U.S. Army, Fort Riley, Kansas. This is his story. My name is Private Roosevelt Johnson. I was born and raised in Greenville, Mississippi, July the 4th, 1951, to Mrs. Hattie Johnson and Reverend J.J. Johnson. I have 6 other brothers and 2 sisters, Shirley, Hattie, Robert, James, John, Fred, Melvin, and Bobby. I come from a family of military veterans. Out of a family of 7 brothers and 2 sisters, 6 of the brothers served in the military, 3 in the Army, 2 in the Air Force, and 1 in the Marines. I grew up in an almost totally segregated society in Greenville, Mississippi, fighting wars on many fronts. My war was chopping and picking cotton and picking up pecans because that was the only job for young men of color. My war was on the basketball courts of the playgrounds of Greenville, Mississippi. That's what I said. Fighting for rebounds against Wap, Mel, and Fred. Fighting for respect. Trying to be a man. Trying to prove that I can. Fighting 2 wars on the same front. Fighting in your mind. Didn't like the military that much. You come from Mississippi and then you find out that the military is just like Mississippi. I was drafted July the 1st, 1971 and served until July the 6th, 1975. 3 years, 8 months, and 21 days. My stay in the United States Army wasn't all roses. I had a lot of hatred in my heart. I remember as a young tender age of 10, my father, the late Reverend J.J. Johnson, was having Bible class and he asked the question, is there anyone here who doesn't love everybody? I raised my hand. My dad saw my hand and tried to move along to the next question, but one of the deacons raised his hand and said, Brother Pastor, your son raised his hand. My father came back and he asked, who is it that you don't love? I answered and said, white folks. I hate white people. My dad told me that you won't be held accountable for how people treat you, but for how you treat people. The church went into prayer for me. Love, not hate. That's what they was trying to teach me. The military opened my eyes, taught me how to be a man and take responsibility for my own actions. My first experience on flying was in basic training, and we was getting ready to leave out for AIT training at Fort Lee, Virginia. And I never will forget, we were in formation and the drill sergeant said, at 0600 hours, all of you would be on that plane going to your many destinations. I had never flew on a plane. And I maintained my silence until the formation was over, and I eased over to the drill sergeant and said, Drill sergeant, can I catch the bus? Because I have never flew on a plane before. He smiled and said, Soldier, at 0600 hours, you would be on that plane. And even though I had never flown before, at 0600 hours, I was on the plane heading for Fort Lee, Virginia. That was my first experience flying on the plane. My brother James Shug Johnson was the first in our family to go to Vietnam. The first to tell us about things he saw or didn't see. He said that they hardly ever saw Charlie. Charlie was like a ghost. They were always looking for Charlie. A doped up jungle trail looking like a snake winding into the night, and that's all right. You see, we're looking for Charlie like a ghost into the night. Now you see him, now you don't. Grassy visions of a world gone mad, reflections in the mirror, looking at yourself, looking for Charlie. It was my time to walk the point where Danny Jackson is sad. He owed me a favor, now he's taking my place. Then a loud explosion lit up the night sky, scrap metals flowing like machine gun fire, tracer bullets flying through the night. No sign of Danny Jackson, clean out of sight. Just his dog tags, just his dog tags. A burning fire in my chest, a .45 in my right hand, looking for Charlie like a ghost in the night. Flat on my back. Is this a fire or is this hell? No way to tell. A scorching fire in my chest. I'm just a country boy from the cotton fields of Mississippi and the mean streets of Detroit. Where's Danny Jackson? I want to see his dog tags, but no sign of Charlie. He's just an illusion like Houdini. Now you see him, now you don't. Shouting echoes of silence. Medic, medic! A tingling feeling in my chest. Scrap metal sticking in my field jacket and burning a hole in my flesh. I looked at the medic with his morphine-induced smile as he poured scrap metal from my field jacket. But where's Danny Jackson? He was walking the point for me. He stepped on the mine, and the only thing they found was his dog tags. My brother Shug made it back, but he still had to fight. Fight for those who couldn't fight, fighting for benefits, fighting for the right to exist, a Vietnam veteran fighting wars on two fronts. Fred and Rock went into the Air Force. I guess they wanted to fly. That's why. John served in the Army. Mel went into the Marines where they teach you to kill. But how can you feel good about killing what you can't give? Get your hand off me. Sound like Mississippi to me. I'm not your slave. What's wrong with you? I know it's a sin hating you because of your white skin. Before General Court-Martial, which assembled at Fort Riley, Kansas, pursuant to Court-Martial number 109, dated 31 October 1972, Private First Class Roosevelt Johnson, 5875-20273, U.S. Army, Headquarters Company, 2nd Battalion, 16th Infantry, Fort Riley, Kansas. Violation of the Uniform Code of Military Justice, Article 91, in that Private First Class Johnson, U.S. Army Company, 2nd Battalion, having received a lawful order from Staff Sergeant Sidney W. Williams, willfully disobeyed the same. He was disrespectful in his language towards Staff Sergeant Alan G. Hudson, his superior non-commissioned officer. He did unlawfully Staff Sergeant Alan G. Hudson, his superior non-commissioned officer, who was then in the execution of his officer, by striking him on the face with his hand. He did behave himself with respect towards First Lieutenant Alan L. Herron, his superior commissioned officer, by saying to him, "Come outside with me, and we will settle this matter once and for all." I accepted a court-martial before a military judge, and I was sentenced to 9 months in Fort Leavenworth with a suspended bad conduct discharge. We appealed the decision, and after 9 months was served, all of those who testified against me because of what I did, now they all spoke up for me. They realized that I'm just like them, and I love my country too. I want to be a good soldier just like you. The appeal came back dismissing all charges, and my rank and my back pay was given to me. The military case, United States versus Johnson, we are pleased to inform you that we have been successful in further proceedings before the United States Court of Military Appeals. That court accepted the argument made before it on your behalf by Captain John Willis and myself and affirmed the dismissal of all charges against you. Thus your record has been wiped clean, and there is no possibility of retrial or further disciplinary action by the Army. Any forfeit that you lost in pay or reduction in grade shall be restored to you, and I trust that you will be satisfied with the results. And you should be pleased to learn that the decision that bears your name has established important new principle in law of speedy trials, which will be of assistance to soldiers facing trial in the future. In 1980, I was ordained minister. I am currently the pastor of Evergreen Baptist Church in Greenville, Mississippi. And what I try to teach the young people is what my father tried to teach. You will be judged not by how people treat you, but how you